Hey Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline and Fans. You're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer. Getting ready to talk about that DC Comics preview book that was given away for free at your local comic book shop this week, featuring DC Rebirth. That's right, guys. We're all really excited for DC Rebirth, and comic book fans, DC fans are looking at any little hints towards stories and artwork and what the characters are going to look like and all those things. And this kind of brings that to you on little clues and tidbits and things like that. So I just wanted to go over it with you a little bit in case you guys don't get a chance to get this. And I think this is a cool thing to have. And here you can see on the cover, as we have a little bit more traditional looking DC characters that we've known and loved over the years. You got Batman there with wearing blue and gray, which is nice to see. And Superman looks a little bit more nostalgic in here. So it's a really cool cover. And here we get to see in that opening artwork page, or the opening page, a table of contents, where you get to see Damian, the son of Batman, and then you get to see the son of Superman as well, which I think is pretty well, John Kent, and the way the artwork is going to look in there, the way the characters look, I think that's really nice. You open up the book, it gives you a ton of information. It gives you a little bit about Jeff Johns and his vision towards the whole rebirth type of situation. And then it talks about, rebirth in general and things to look out for. And there's 5 things that are major that's going to happen in the whole DC rebirth thing. There's a line of fire. There will be a mysterious death. Whatever character that is, we don't know yet. Heroes will return. We'll see 3 characters reintroduced into the DC universe with promise of more. Revelations, a secret that dives into the very nature of why the DC universe is the way that it is. And the Dark Knight, Batman will become focused on a mystery that will change everything he knows about his greatest villain. And that's all leading into Justice League. Multiversal mayhem. A secret is exposed about the nature of the DC universe and why it is lost and what it was lost, and will introduce the greatest threat that it's ever faced. And it talks about these certain titles here that have to do with Batman. When you go back to Batman or Justice League issue number 48, where it asks like who killed his parents and things like that, and other stuff that has to do with Aquaman. So there's some good information in there. It goes through all the titles that are coming out on those certain dates, which is very important, so you can save the date. It talks a little bit about the first title that it talks about, obviously, is Jim Lee's Suicide Squad, and you get to see a good artwork page with Harley in there, and then Killer Croc. And it just says here in a tidbit here, it says, story specifies on Squad are locked deep in the bowels of Belle Reeve, but writer Rob Williams offered one tantalizing tidbit, and it says one of these characters will be joining the team. Doomsday, Mr. Mxyzptlk, or General Zod will be part of the Suicide Squad. Now, how messed up is that? So that's pretty interesting little tidbit there for them. Here we get to see a whole situation on Batman Beyond, on who is in the suit. And it doesn't look like Terry McGinnis is going to be the only one involved in the series, which is kind of interesting. We get a little bit about, Snyder talks about his new All-Star Batman series. So we get something about that in there. And, we get what's always interesting is how the Justice League is going to turn out. And we get a little bit character descriptions on what's going on in the Justice League about Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, so the Trinity themselves. And then we talk about school. And so it's like, what's the biggest threat Superman will face starting in issue number 1? And Tomasi says, well, Superman's going to be facing 2 things that are incredibly important. One, of course, is trying to protect his son, Jonathan, from the world at large, which all parents feel and feel that they need to do when their kid is at that age. And then there's education, teaching Jonathan how to adjust to the world around him, to act in the world around him. So that's pretty much the biggest thing, is protecting their child. So I think that's a really interesting story, as it's going to hit home for a lot of people, and I think that's really awesome. Here we get to see, you know, a little sketch on Superman's sons, as that book is not coming out till September, so it's going to be a while from now. And we get to see Blue Beetle get involved with Gotham Academy, which I thought was pretty awesome as well. So if you guys are Blue Beetle fans in here, we get to see the new Superman, like that Asian Superman. We get to see him in his suit, if you haven't seen that already. So it's a different style of suit that you're used to seeing in Superman. And then we wind up seeing some of these other titles that take shape, like Wonder Woman in here goes into great detail about, you know, what we can expect in there. We also talk about how family matters in the Deathstroke series. And so it breaks down the, you know, Ravager and Jericho and Ravager 2. And it takes the place with all the characters and Slade themselves. And then it talks a little bit about Titans as well. And, you know, this is a book that I think a lot of us are looking forward to, as it has to deal with the Teen Titans. And it's got Beast Boy and Raven and Flash, or Kid Flash, and Starfire in there. And then it talks about Flash and Harley as well. And it's all great things. And the cool thing about Harley is it gave her a little bit of a timeline of when she came out. Back in 1992, how she makes her animated arrival, and then she comes to the official DCU in 99, and she went solo in 2000, and so it goes all into those great descriptions. Real title that I'm looking forward to is the whole Green Lanterns title, and Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps. And it talks about all these threats that happens, you know, how a threat to each other, there's a little bit of a threat in there, and it gives you these cool little threat meters. And what's good about this preview books is it really gets you excited for these titles. I thought it was really awesome. It talks about Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. What are their starting points in Rebirth? Sorry about the noise in the background. We have a little bit about Wonder Woman and the Birds of Prey in here as well. So there's a lot of good stuff that's involved in the whole DC Rebirth previews book. When you get towards the end of the book, we get to see a whole checklist, which is really well done in the book, and it tells you all the books that are on sale when, and so you can check them off. There's a lot of books, but I think a lot of us are going to be excited for it. And then when you get to the very, very end, it gives you the covers of all the books that we have seen already on the computer. But it's yours to do whatever you want with. You can cut them out of the book. You can hang them up in the background behind you. You can keep them for reference on what the story is about. It's just a really nice overall good and solid preview book where they could have charged you money for it like Marvel does for their preview books, but they didn't. They gave it to you for free, and I thought that's awesome, and it shows you that they're in it to win the readers back. Charge them a minimal price for the comics, once again, all $2.99, and it's definitely an enjoyable read, and I feel that you guys are going to get a lot out of this previews book, and hopefully you will get your copy today, and hopefully your store won't run out. But if you haven't, at least I gave you a little bit of what is to offer in this DC Rebirth previews book. And then here's the back of the book as well. So, guys, there you have it. There is my review on the, or overview of the previews book. Guys, tell me what you're looking forward to the most when it comes to DC Rebirth. Are you more excited now than ever? And fans, as always, thank you for watching Comic Frontline. And until that next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Take care, fans. See you soon. Bye.